Okay. So now we are at Shanice agreed, let's freaking do this.
Yeah.
Wait, let me, when Jacen first called me, the reason why I said no, because I've already made an agreement to join the House of Wax.
Right.
So I wanted to finalize it before, to make sure it was finalized, which, you know, it was a little turbulence in the communication trying to get things finalized. I just made peace. It's like, you know, I'm not going to do that. Let me just go and start this whole new legacy of doing something fresh, doing something that I can really have my hands on and really create and do something amazing. I mean, when I was telling Jacen, was that it's like now Ballroom is, again, is you have the new generation. So it's even like you don't have, there isn't a house that that came from our era that, you know, that is fresh.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like everything that is older is from the old generation with
right.
that old system of doing things versus something that the thing that me and you are doing. You know, it's like we come from that. We come from that generation, but also we're willing to go with the flow
Of the new
with the new generation.
To be progressive, basically.
To be progressive.
Exactly.
Right.
So we want to
So
embrace.
old school foundation, but definitely new school values.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
So let's talk about that. So you guys agree to come together. So let's talk about names. Okay. What were some of the names? Who decided Moncler? How did that come about? Why Moncler?
So
this was all.
this was all me.
This was all
This was
Jacen.
all
Like
me.
I'm more the background. Like I'm more.
No, you're definitely not the background.
No, I mean no. I mean when I say I'm more the background, it's like I'm more like just go with the flow. If the energy is right, then I'm not. You know, I'm not complicated.
Yeah, she's not
Like
complicated. Yeah.
if the energy is right and I feel good about it, like Jacen basically came in with everything, the name, just everything. You know, I'm just like, well.
So
cool.
how did you feel about it when you first heard Moncler?
I was like, Moncler. And when he said, I'm like, oh my God. Like, and we started to think of the label Moncler.
Right.
Like, it was just like, you know, Moncler is a fashion brand. Basically, it's for, you know, the winter. Like, usually people get a Moncler when they cold. They want to warm up. They want to have covering.
Right.
Right?
Covering. Yeah.
Covering.
To be covered.
To be covered, right?
To be covered.
To be
To be
covered.
covered, yeah. Deeply.
And then too, where the name Moncler came from, I was actually on the phone with my son, and we were talking about house names. And at first I was so stuck on the word Supreme. So I actually called JR Supreme, who is now in the House of Ebony. I asked JR, you know, if I could have his permission to use the name. But then when I was talking to my son, he was like, well, Ma, like, where do the Supremes live? And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, the Supremes, like, think about American Horror Story, like, it's cold and the Supremes come heat the situation up, and when the three of them come, it's like so much power. And I'm like, okay, so he's taking it somewhere. I'm just letting his creative mind just go. And I was like, okay. And he was like, the mountains. And we both was on FaceTime, and we both said at the same time, the mountains of Moncler. And I was like, that's it, Supreme Moncler. Like, oh my God, that's it. And out of all the other names of possible combinations it could have been, that was the one that like made the most sense. It felt so organic. It just felt like that was it. Even when I was telling Shanice about like how the division that we have for our girls, like the Moncler girls and like the men of Moncler, like it just aligned.
Yeah.
It aligned.
Supreme Moncler, and we have two Supremes covering it.
Two Supremes covered.
So let's talk about it. So let's talk about the team face. So the category was calling for royalty, correct?
Correct.
So what made you decide, like, okay, this is definitely where we're going to debut, we're going to walk together, and...
That was all Shanice's idea.
It was because the thing, it was all alignment. Like, it's so perfect. Even coming out to get our outfits made, he did that in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
It was just amazing.
This is the easiest I think I've ever walked the category. It was like no meltdowns, no arguing. It was smooth.
Yeah.
Like it was perfect.
It was amazing. It was just an alignment. Like
It was just an alignment. Yeah,
you know, like we always vow, we always said we want to walk face together. So it was like this ball have team face.
I think the hardest part for both of us was like us being in New York, and because she's Shanice and I'm Jacen, us not being spotted together, and people like wondering like, what is going on? Because we got spotted by Malik Mugler and Courtney Tichy at the African market in Harlem, and like the texts started going, oh, I saw Jacen with Shanice. What are they doing? So then my phone started ringing like, Jacen, you walking? I'm like, no, I'm not walking. I'm not walking. It's Dallas. I'm not walking. But what makes so much sense too for it being Dallas, really with the whole King Mother, Queen Mother, like, and Shanice was very direct with me because I said we could debut at the main ball, like we got time to figure this out. She was like, we're icons. We're not walking as 007s. And I was just like, oh, okay. Well, we debuting now. She was like, yeah, we'll debut now. You know, and it's so funny. Like, one thing that I love about our union is a lot of times you meet and come into houses where the mother figure or the femme queen is always just the trophy piece.
Right.
Like, Shanice is not that. Like, she's definitely a trophy piece, but she's also, she wants to be involved with the process. She wants to know what's going on. She wants her input. Like, her voice is respected, her voice is heard, her voice is acknowledged. And I think that's the beauty of the two of us. Like,
Right.
and we're able to have those tough, well, we haven't had any tough conversations, but like, you know, conversations about just whatever.
So you guys walked that night. You look absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, you didn't take grand prize.
No, we took grand prize.
Basically.
Okay.
Yeah,
Period.
we took grand prize.
But my question, but my question was, I can't with this bitch.
No, I'm just like, to be honest
No,
with the
but that
viewers,
was where my next follow-up was going to
Okay.
go. So was there still a satisfaction for you guys that you guys actually still debuted, came together, and go? I want to know, what were your feelings?
Well, the thing about that, like, everything is about the principle. It's a principle, is a standard, it's a reason why you do stuff. You have a principle, you have a purpose of what you're doing, and the purpose what we set to do, we did it, we executed, we created the moment. And now, again, that's why it's so important for, you know, iconic figures with genuine spirits to come back and help this new generation, because it's not about the win, it's about the moment. Ballroom was always about the moment. When you go back and look at the videos, when Sanaya was voguing off the balcony, when Charles or Little James or Ricky
or Renee,
or when they walk, they created the moment. When you create the moment, you set the standard for the category, and that's it. And ballroom is all about, that's the art of ballroom, creating the moment. So our purpose for coming, we executed it. We killed it. So we won. We lit the moment.
the moment.
Supremely. Moncler. Deeply. Okay.
Okay, so let's get to it. So, what are some things that you are going to bring that was great? Because you came from Prodigy, Ebony, Con, big, iconic, about to be iconic, legendary houses.
Right.
What are some things that you definitely want to bring from there, as far as like some of the old school values that you want to bring into Moncler?
Well, for me, one thing that I do admire about the old school values that, we were a family. Like, you did things together. You went on trips, you had picnics, you had gatherings. And so, and that's the big thing, is just like, creating a comfortable space in unity.
And for me, like, coming from those big houses, I think that, like, when you are in a big house, it's great, but it also could be a disservice sometimes to certain types of members, because it becomes too focused on ball walking, it becomes too focused on, like, paying dues, it becomes a business. And in that business mind, you lose people in the sauce. Like, and you're not able to really cater to the needs of that individual and really, help them blossom and grow. So this would definitely not be a boutique house. It would be a couture collection, of like-minded creative individuals. And we have some amazing people already. Our queen, Lasaya, Lasaya Wade from Chicago. She owns Brain Space Alliance. Lasaya is someone that's an advocate and a voice to be reckoned with in the trans community. So, we have a lot of things that we're going to be rolling out slowly. And to also answer this question, I know you didn't answer, but I'm going to answer for them, because I've been getting some people wondering, like, well, how did you do this so fast? Like, this was done so quick. It really wasn't done fast, because the outline that I wrote down that I wanted to actually do, I already had written down prior to. But it was just a matter of me acting on it, because those are things that I wanted to actually bring to my former establishment. And when I started to realize that the things that I wanted to bring wasn't aligning, I just put it in my book and I wrote it down. I kept writing and kept writing and kept writing. And one day it'll manifest, and here we are now. And when I spoke those things to Shanice, and talking about building the brand and building the house and really creating this family and creative dynamic, like everything that I was saying to her, I didn't have to get a chance to even finish it because she completed my sentence. So it was just an alignment
Alignment.
through it all.
Alignment.
It was
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
It's amazing. It is amazing.